Alrighty, we're about to get started. Welcome everyone, welcome. Who was actually on the call? Not a lot of people, but it's whatever. Welcome for real. So welcome, and what we're gonna do today is we're gonna just go over 3 myths, basically that people have when it comes to investing. The reason why I wanted to go over this is because I hear a lot of people who want to participate in the markets, but they're not able to because they have these beliefs and they don't really try to do anything to help themselves out actually. Like they just continue to believe in these myths, and really these myths can be actually taken down if you actually think about it in a certain way. So that's why I want to go over a couple things today. So we're gonna start off with myth number 1. Myth number 1 is you need a lot of money to get started. Not true. You do not need a lot of money to get started. To be honest with you, you can actually get started with just $100 into the market. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the people who usually believe in this, think that it takes a lot of money to get started. But really what it is that you really just need to have like a financial foundation. And what that means is that you need to understand your assets and your liabilities. And the reason why I'm saying that is because when you do that, then you can set realistic goals and you can kind of reverse engineer how you want to get to certain goals, starting off at a certain amount. So if you want to take that $100 and turn it into $200, you start off with the $200 and you say, all right, well, in order to get that, it's going to take me about this amount of time. And you can basically figure out where to get started, and you don't really need a lot to get started. Like I said, $100 can get you into a lot of different things. You can get into the Forex market, you can get into stocks, you can get into quite a couple other things too. I mean, shoot, investing doesn't necessarily mean the financial markets, but like really, you don't need a lot of money to get started. So myth number 2 is investing money is very difficult. It can actually. So this one isn't the biggest myth, but like this one, it can be true, but honestly, there's so many things that you can do to get around it. And so investing money can be difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And that's for anybody. You can go to any new job, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're just not going to be successful. So you need to know what you're doing before you actually get into it. And that's where having a game plan comes into play. So, if you know what to expect, like if you have realistic goals, then it's pretty easy to obtain. One thing I also would recommend too is to be coachable. And the reason why is because if you find a mentor, a coach, or a consultant that can help you get into different markets, as long as you're able to actually learn and you have the mindset that is very coachable and you know how to actually take something that someone says and apply it to yourself, then you can be very successful. But if you don't do that, and you think you know everything and you really don't, or if you don't know things and you're just too nervous or that's not smart enough to know this stuff, then find someone else who is and have them be your mentor or coach and they'll help you out. Which take us to the 3rd myth. So the 3rd myth is, I have my notes here. Investing is too risky because the market is rigged and the big banks will always continue to profit. So I'm just going to put investing is too risky. Once again, that is not true. And the reason why is because if you are able to calculate certain things, then that wouldn't be an issue. But let's be honest though, the bigger banks have been around for a long time, before most of us has even been birthed. So like that's not gonna change. So the bigger banks are always gonna have, I guess, kind of an upper hand, but there's different things that the banks cannot control. And that's why I like getting into Forex market. I like getting into stocks because the Forex market is based off of fundamental things that are going around the globe. So supply and demand. And then for stocks, it's based off the company. And so if the company's doing well, the shares are going to go up. If the company's not doing well, then of course it's going to go down. And that has nothing to do with the bank. And so as well with the stock or with the Forex exchange, that has nothing to do with the banks. If there's different things going on in the world and money's moving around and the value of each dollar is changing, that's dependent on each economy. And that's not the banks. That's based off of the government, economics, fundamentals basically. Anything that has to do with what's going on in the world could play a role into some of these financial markets. Now, some of the other things that you can invest into that do play a bigger role with some of the banks is some things like options or binary options. You can also get into, there's other things, but I'm not going to list all of them. But the banks don't really have the big say-so when there's a lot of other things that are dependent to make investing more fun for you. And so like I said, with some of those markets dependent on the supply and demand, and then some of it's dependent on the actual company itself. So investing itself doesn't have to be too risky. Investing money is not difficult. You don't need a lot of it to do it. And so that's kind of the 3 myths that I usually hear about investing. And so what I want to do is I want to help anybody who has any issues figure out what it is that's stopping them from investing and kind of create a game plan. So you guys can go ahead and make any comments that you want, or share with anybody, or reach out to me personally, and we'll figure it out. But from there, we're gonna pretty much end it from here, pretty nice and sweet. Those are the 3 myths that I believe that people think about investing, and they're not true, so we just debunked most of them. I'm gonna also write out an article, you'll see this on my blog, probably put a little bit more detail into it in terms of the typing, so you guys can see exactly how each thing can be debunked when it comes to the myths. So other than that, peace everyone, I'm out.